So I think right there... Oh, I ain't... Bollocks. This is mad annoying. If I'd have been bashing A to get in, as soon as the game loaded in, I think I would have been fine in the immunity of the fog gate animation, but I was kind of distracted. And thus that clam did literally the one move it could have done that was fast enough to hit me immediately. And then from there on it was that moment of I panic roll, and then it does another attack, and I just kind of, everything lines up synchronously so that it can murder me with very little effort. Incredibly dangerous. Incredibly effective too. Is there a dude there? Yes, and he's buffed. But Dukes is one of those places, man. Once you know what you're doing, you should be okay with it. Which is Dark Souls in... It's every Souls game, really. Like even Dark Souls 2. I just think Dark Souls 2 is a little bit tougher than this game. Because I just don't think it works as well. Look at that, you can see it on the other side. It's a beast. Oh, and it disappeared. I wonder if there'll be bows and arrows in Bloodborne. Or some kind of crossbow kind of mechanism. I saw a video earlier from IGN. They're releasing a new Bloodborne video like every week, and their idea of new Bloodborne videos is really fucking scraping the barrel, man. Like, they showed the composers... I say composers, they showed the session musicians performing the Cleric Beast theme. And don't get me wrong, it was a really, really cool video, and it was nice to see, you know, a bunch of really talented musicians playing that awesome tune. But it had little to nothing to do with Bloodborne news. It was just kind of like a, you know, there you go. And then another one was weapons of Bloodborne. I'm like, well, this could be really cool. Maybe they'll do like a montage of some stuff we haven't seen. And lo and behold, there was a couple of things we've not seen in it. But for the most, it was just a dude, like, not even that impressively killing the very first few enemies of the game. And with questionable editing, because it wasn't necessarily that fancy or that interesting. It was just kind of there. Which I don't really understand. But the cool thing I noticed in it, which I haven't seen at this point, is... he had double guns. So there was a sequence where he was using two firearms, and I have no idea how that's going to work, because from our experience of the guns, you kind of have a distance gun and you kind of have a close range gun. Like one that fires a single shot, one that fires, you know, like a scatter, kind of like a suppressive shot. And we haven't really seen anything in between, but the one universal thing we've been able to pick up from the footage they've given us is that the guns aren't for damage. The guns are for stopping people and for making them flinch and for getting a little bit of an advantage. Or maybe finishing somebody off. Or getting a stun or something like that. They're not for killing. So double guns is either completely stylistic in its design, or it might be actually viable, which would be really cool. But the only thing that... I hate this. I hate getting past Seath, because he's a clippy bastard. Look at that nonsense. So I have a legitimate issue in this fight, and that is my curse resist is 80 high? I don't even know. It's been too long since I really knew what stats are high and what weren't. Well, where's he going, dickhead? Yeah, we got it! I'm about to be killed. So for all those people having trouble getting that, you all hate me now. Is that what? Can we do close on this? AoE? Oh wow, he did the swipe. That's very rare. Can we get the loop? It looks like Seethy's going to be a douchey. Yeah, Seethy's being a douchey. Oh, you douche. I hate this fight. I think it's really visually impressive, but I think mechanically it's kind of shit. Just because of the tendencies of Seath to be a dumb asshole for most of it. A bit like what you just saw then. AoE. AoE. If you've never seen one of the loops you can do on him, basically, running close, he does the far away attack. Attack him until he starts doing the close-up attack, get out, and then bait the far away attack, and you kind of rinse and repeat that, and it works really well most of the time. But every so often, Seath will just kind of glide up to you like this and fuck it up, because he's a dumb asshole. But we're going to try and kill him, and we did, so you can suck my fat one, silly lizard man. We get the Bequeathed Lord Soul Shard, which is of course what dear Duke Freyr used in his original experiments on the ancient dragon. Oof. So 60,000 souls on top of whatever we had, which we can now dump into our man. Give him some sexiness with my 29 strength, because that's what all Murakumo builds should use. Kumo builds. And now we're going to get power within, because we're going to kill the kings. And I would normally just tier stone it, but I don't have any faith in my ability with the tier stone at the moment, because it's been a while since I've played. And don't get me wrong, I am a decent player of Dark Souls, and in my day I was known to use the tier stone ring rather effectively. But this playthrough has had a lot of mistakes in it, a lot of sloppiness, a lot of missed times, so I can't imagine the kings will be any different. So I'm going to compensate for a lack of power, which I probably don't have with the Kumo build as it stands. Probably got enough power to do some decent damage here, but I don't have a lot of speed. That's the problem. So you might be curious as to where power within is. You might be wondering what power within actually is, and there's like a bunch of people now like, don't patronise us, Chris, we're fucking beasts, we know everything about Dark Souls, we made the game, we're in the credits, you know, we made the spiritual predecessor. But there's a lot of people that don't, and that's what you've got to always tailor your content towards. Sure, there's an audience of people that know, but just in case there's that one dude who doesn't, here's a little explanation. Power Within is a pyromancy that effectively increases your damage output over time. But while it is active, it kills you. So you might immediately be like, well, that sounds horrible. Like, if it's going to kill me, I can have all the damage in the world, but what if I die? And that is generally the, shall we say, the more nescient way to look at it. But believe you me, guys, the damage it gives you is more than enough than the health it takes away. It is by far my favourite piece of magic in this game, and possibly one of the most powerful tools that you can use. My answer to almost every question I've ever got, oh goodness me, in Dark Souls, can we? Yeah, we can, is always the same. If you are struggling on a boss, if you cannot kill it, and you have a pyromancy slot, get power within. It's the same answer every single time, get power within. Because it will literally make the difference that you need. And with the kings, a lot of people have trouble with the kings on New Game Plus. If you have power within, you will never have trouble with the kings. I do have an additional strategy for people who don't like that one, but once again it features using spells. If you have the DLC, and you're pretty good at killing DLC bosses, get Darkbead. Darkbead is possibly the most overpowered spell in this game. The only reason it doesn't have even more hate than it already does, and it's a pretty damn hated spell, is because Wrath of God is so damn easy to use. Wrath of God is the all-purpose, the Swiss Army knife of spells, and because of it, it garnered a very strong, wow, clipping like a motherfucker, a very strong reputation, and a very negative one too. But I think Darkbead is way worse. Way worse than Wog. Because Wog very rarely one-shots you. Unless somebody's made a build to do exactly that. And not many people do that. I've just been hit by one of those blow dart guys. That's really bad. And he's fucking there. Little shit. Yeah. I don't like this area. Purely for frame rate reasons. It's a dank, dark, ugly frame ratey place. But Darkbead will reliably one-shot you, even if the player hasn't got it spec'd that way, because when they use it up close, because of latency, because of the desynchronization between your screen and their screen, this is really bad. It's another great example of why I don't think Souls games should ever have clipping in them, yet all of them do. And it ruins the game. It really does. And a lot of people just see it as complaining or whining when people mention stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be there. It makes a great game worse. Like, this game would be universally, hands down better if the clipping was better. Like, in no part does the clipping add anything to this game. It doesn't. It makes it unnecessarily difficult in areas where clipping is an issue. It's been a while since I've done this, guys, so I might be going the wrong way here, but I believe it's that creature on the wall that guards power within. Something fucking... Oh, there's another one of those fellas. Okay. Yeah, this is right, this is right. There's a fatty to deal with, and then there's that creature. Oh, there's also those mannequin arm guys. Wow! GG, Dark Souls, GG. Do you see how rusty my menus were then? I was not getting out of that anytime soon. I was in the fucking brightness. I'm not too sure why that happened. I'm going to blame it on that massive frame rate dump. But, yeah, I'm not too sure what happened then. Just know that it was scary. The ladder climb in Dark Souls 2, fantastic decision. Very happy that they included that. Very clever stuff. Here he comes. Wow, got the stun on me as well. Clever. So the reason I waited then is because if you don't, he generally gets the initiative on the ladder. And if he gets the initiative on the ladder, it can be very, 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 very bad news. There's a big swing, and there's the backstab. Of course you can parry that should you choose to, but why take the risk when you can just lazily chop him up? A couple more scrubbers here. There's one. However, killing this creature that guards the spell we want can be a bit of a work of art. It's also a nasty looking thing too. Only thing in the game that looks quite as bubbly as this. Where is this moron? Because there's a guy just there. Here he comes. Come on, dickhead. So our poise isn't great, but should be okay. I'm dumping humanities here because I don't really value them. When you play Dark Souls long enough, you learn to just have diminished... Get off me, you scruff! Right. Suppose I could try this. It's not the most powerful thing. Bollocks. It does some damage, I guess. Want to be really careful because you see how my character's edging forward? I can edge into the radius of this creature's move, which is not a good thing. I could also hit its leg with the Kumo, but I want to play it safe because getting here can be kind of a nightmare. So if I've got any fire bombs, I'm going to use those. I've got one, that's not going to cut it. Any shit pies out? No, we're gonna have to play it dangerously. Yeah, see what I mean? So what we'll do is we'll try and bait an attack. Fucking hell. That just happened. And I had enough time to quit then, I'm just not really good with the menus. So yeah, Dark Souls. This is what the game can be sometimes, and that is why I will never be a fanboy over this particular... Oh, and I've done it again. Ugh. Why do I never rest at bonfires? Admittedly, I didn't rest at that bonfire because I'm an idiot. Tell you what I should have checked. I should have checked my bow. Didn't I get a bow earlier to kill Ingrid with? Damn it. That would have probably made the difference. That was, you know, pretty fail-ridden, but on the bright side, we get to play for a little bit longer. Not too much longer though, because I'm absolutely starving. When you can taste the water going through your tubes, it tells you you need to eat. It does feel good though. If water felt like that every single time, I'd be getting me some fucking... Like, what's the opposite of dehydration? Like hyperhydration, maybe? Because you can die from drinking too much water. I can't imagine that being a very fun way to go, but there you go. I must jump over this. Maybe not. That's something I'm excited for Bloodborne as well. I really want to have tons of jumps. Like, I want a lot of the surfaces to be accurate to their image so that you can do tricky jumps to get all kinds of different places, because that's the kind of shit I love. Like, I'm not asking for, you know, really tricky jumps like Duke skips all the time, but just the opportunity to intelligently use your jump to cut out, you know, 5 or 10 seconds worth of level, which I find really interesting to figure out and do and then get good at. I can't believe I missed that creature. Like, I could have just kind of stood there and swung it and I'd have been fine. But it just... God, it was bad, wasn't it? Not quite as bad as this. I wonder how many frames this actually is, because this looks like it's not much. I should get Fraps up. But then again, I don't think Fraps reads the frame rate of the game playing. I think it reads the frame rate of what window you have it on, unless of course you're playing the game on PC. They should have really done some kind of tricky processing techniques here so that you didn't have to generate this entire area all at the same time, because it makes me wonder what it was like, you know, in-house, when they realised that no matter what they did, they couldn't get this place to run how they wanted it to. Because they knew, guys, they had to know, they made the game. Like, there's no way you don't know that one area of your game handles like utter shit. And I mean, there's the clip, there's... Did I mention the clip? I don't think I mentioned it enough. But I mean, there's so much clip on this game. You clip on the fucking corpses. Like, they leave invisible impressions for a few seconds before they finally die. Like, it's wonderful in its... It's just... It's not good. But we learn to love the things that aren't too great because... Oh... Because we do love them. But it doesn't make them any less of an issue. And I think that's what a lot of people who aren't looking at it, shall we say, through a more logical and practical way of thinking, are missing out on. The Socratic method is lacking. Just miserable. So miserable. And that was all that dude. All him. Like, It's an additional reason why I never go through Blight Town. Clipping and frame rate. Everything else I'm not too bad with. Like I kind of like the enemies. I kind of like the scumminess to it. I kind of like the whole, you know, some crazy cowboy builders made all this scaffolding and never took it down. But everything else, don't like at all. Does it still? No, no, it don't. That's a little bit like the dragon, that. When the dragon lands, if you hold guard, you can stop your character from flinching, which you see a lot of people not aware of. So I'm not going to fuck about it because it took too long last time. There's the jump attack. Very good. But if this would go to the corner, why is there a gap there? It's the most trolley gap ever. And Blight Town's full of that kind of shit. Because it has this reputation for it, but I still think it's questionable at best. Yeah, 40 large arrows and I'm a dex build. Goodness me, why? What was I doing? That's hurting it. It's such a troll enemy though. And there we go. If I'd have done that last time, things might have been different. Now he's dead, we can come over here and we can go bing. And there it is, folks. Power within. My favourite pyromancy.